Welcome to Sit, Stay, Read, the podcast for every wag, whinny, and whisker. I'm Kathleen Donnelly, award-winning author and retired canine handler. Each week, I chat with novelists about the bond we share with our furry friends and how they inspire stories. Grab a coffee, get cozy with your favorite pet. It's time to sit, stay, read. Well, big welcome to award-winning author and journalist, Peggy Townsend. Peggy's work has been published in Globe Magazine and the San Francisco Chronicle, just to name a couple spots. She's even traveled to Alaska, where she lived out of a van for 7 weeks. And her latest release, The Botanist, oh my gosh, sorry, Peggy, Assistant, is another thrilling read. Peggy, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to talk to you about my book and about all things outdoors and planty and petty.
Yes, I can't wait because you have some great animal characters in your books. You have the outdoors are obviously a passion for you. Why don't you start just by telling us about the botanist assistant, if I can say the title, and what inspired the main character, Margaret Finch? She's so fascinating.
Yes, so Margaret Finch is a 6 foot tall, big boned woman who works as a lab assistant at a university, a fictional university on the Central Coast. The lab is looking for a cancer cure from an extract of a rare rainforest plant.
Okay.
She is odd. She's kind of eccentric. People dismiss her, but she's really good at what she does. And she drives a 20-year-old pickup. She's 54 years old and lives in a little cottage on the hill. So um, one of her colleagues is found dead, and everyone declares it's natural causes. But Margaret, being Margaret, will not let that lie. She thinks there's something going on. So she sets off to find out if there is indeed a murder, and if there's a murder, as she believes, who's the killer. And so Margaret was inspired by, as a journalist and as a writer,
Yes.
we're like a magpie. We pick things here and there. So Margaret was inspired by two things. One, after I worked at the newspaper, I worked as a writer for UC Santa Cruz and interviewed a bunch of amazing scientists who are they're curious, they're smart, they're tenacious, they have grit, they ask questions, they observe things. And I thought, well, that would be a great detective.
Yeah.
And so that was one thing. And the other thing was I did a story about a woman once who lived high on a hill with her Down syndrome daughter. And she was just the most, her life was so hard. And yet she was so accepting of it. And she looked like what I picture Margaret looked like. She was tall, she was big boned. She had a very plain face, which kind of set off most of her life. And so I just pictured her and I loved her so much. And I thought, oh, I might borrow her. So I did a little bit.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I already love Margaret because I'm about 5'11" and I drive a really old truck. So I was like, oh, I'm digging this character. I feel her. She sounds like she's very precise, very socially reserved, but precise, and just like you said, an amazing scientist. So fascinating to hear some of the people she was based off of. Now, is some of the science in the book based off of that work you did and the people you met?
It's based off my idea of a scientist, how amazing they are,
Yeah.
and the things they've discovered and what they found out and how long and hard they worked on something. I was really inspired by them. But my sister is a scientist.
Okay.
And one thing I can recommend to your watchers and readers, if you ever get to go on a walk in nature with a scientist, do it. So
Okay.
she,
I love it.
yeah, no, truly. She was an environmental toxicologist for a long
Oh
time
my
and,
gosh.
fought really hard for the environment and we started going on, we always go on walks, but when I was thinking about Margaret, we went on a number of walks in the woods and in meadows and along a slough. And the way she talked about plants as her friends, because she
I love
knew
it.
all about them, really, really struck me. And then one day we were hiking up this hill, and I look at this plant on the side of the path that we were on, and I thought it was a wild carrot. And she said, "Oh no, that's a poisonous hemlock."
Oh.
And I said, "Well, how can you tell?" And so she had me look closer, and on the stem were little, looked like drops of blood. They were purple streaks
Okay.
that I think some people call it the blood of Socrates. But anyway, so here's this amazing, beautiful plant, and then this kind of deadly part of it. And I was like, okay, I'm writing about, I'm putting a botanist in my book. And so that was part of that's the roots of the book.
Okay, I love it. And there's not only a love for botany, there's a love for animals too. And there is an animal character in this book. Do you want to share a little bit about the wonderful kitty you added into this book?
Sure. So this is very funny. I vowed I would not have an animal in the book, really. And as a writer, but the average person would probably think, oh, she's really, nuts. What's wrong with her? But I was writing, and all of a sudden, a cat walked into the scene.
Yeah.
And it was a beat up, scrappy tomcat who has one eye.
Okay.
And Margaret, he adopted Margaret first. And then she reluctantly adopted him because she saw in him a lot of her. And so it's a tomcat, and she just names him Tom because at first she doesn't want to get attached to him.
Yeah.
But gradually, as animals do, Tom worked his way into her heart and what had been a pretty lonely life,
Yeah.
even though she was satisfied by her work, her life was pretty lonely. So Tom appears, and yeah, I really had fun writing Tom, and a lot of reviewers mentioned how much they like Tom. So I'm glad
I
he
love
came.
it.
Glad he showed up.
I'm glad he did too, because he's perfect for sit, stay, read to have introduce us to a new animal character. And if you don't mind me asking, I think before we started, we were talking, and Tom's based a little bit off a real life cat. Is that correct?
That's 100% correct. Like I said, like a magpie, I stole something that happened to my sister, who, it has cats. It has a cat, and very much a cat lover.
Mhm.
And one day, this cat showed up, a little, like tiny tabby showed up, and scrappy, ear bitten, a little rough around the edges. But he was so delightful that he adopted her, she adopted him. We She took him to the vet. We thought he was a young cat. Well, it turned out he was like 12 years old.
Oh my
He's just
gosh.
tiny. And
Okay.
so she named him Hobo because he just showed up, and he lived with her for a year of a wonderful life, before he eventually passed. But
Okay.
his last year was really good. So I stole a little bit of Tom from Hobo.
I love it. Well, he Hobo obviously picked the right person. They know who to adopt.
I think he did. He knew a soft heart when he saw one. So
Definitely.
yeah, so that's how Tom was inspired.
I love it. Well, and I noticed there's a human character that really fascinated me in your book, and that's a janitor who it sounds like Margaret brings into the story and into the mystery to help her out. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about him? Because I found him really fascinating as well.
Yeah, that's a great question. I got that question a lot of times from the early readers of the book before I submitted it. So the character is named Joe, and he's a former investigative reporter who
Okay.
got a job at the university as a janitor, custodian. And a lot of people who weren't journalists found that really unbelievable. And so I had to
Really?
explain to them that, and my editor, and kind of flesh it out so people understood. Like, so as a reporter, and if I talked to my reporter friends, they totally got it when I told them about it. So it's a job sometimes that takes a lot out of you. Like there's so
Yeah.
much emotion tied up in it. There's so many things that you see. There's such consequences of what you do that it
Mhm.
becomes really heavy. And you'll write something, and there could be this giant outcry, people attacking you, and you have to defend your piece. Um, and so it can get really heavy. And sometimes there were
Yeah.
times as a reporter that I thought, if I could just have a job cleaning houses or cleaning offices or delivering mail, something where I just went to
Yeah.
work, I did my job, I saw the results at the end of the day, and then I just went home, and I didn't have to
Yeah.
bring everything with me. There's not emotional baggage. So um, yeah, so when I needed a character like him in the book, and so I got it. Every journalist friend I know gets it, but I had to make sure that people understood that sometimes you just need to get away. And so he was kind
Yeah.
of clearing his soul doing this job. So
I love it. I actually have a journalism degree and I didn't work much in it for all the reasons you just mentioned, especially the emotional toll. It's tough, and people don't realize that. I don't think. I think they think journalists just go out and get the story and that's that. But we see a lot, and you've certainly worked a lot in it. So it's really I get the character.
good, good.
So hopefully our listeners now have if you're not a journalist, hopefully you understand him and just a great. I think he sort of offset Margaret in a really, really nice way. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. My editor, once she figured out why Joe was there, she kept saying, "More Joe, more Joe." So there's more
I
Joe
love
in
it.
there. But
I
what drew you to journalism, if I can ask?
Oh, sure. I wanted a job where I could write.
Oh,
And I thought that would be it. And I did enjoy, there was a lot I enjoyed with it. Being tall, I played basketball and I thought sports journalism maybe was where I wanted to go. But as time went on, and actually while I was in school, the John Benet Ramsey case happened. And the murder and the grand jury, sort of from my freshman year to my senior year. And we were given assignments to follow that trial and that case, and it was just heartbreaking. And it still is that it's not solved. That this many years later,
right.
it's not solved. So it's yeah. So I think I remember the day I was waiting outside the courtroom garage. We were supposed to get video of the van coming out with the Ramseys in it, and I just thought, what am I doing? What do I want to do with,
Yeah.
why am I standing here waiting for video of this? So that's kind of my story with it. And that's when I did some freelance, but nothing like what you have written. You've written some amazing things and especially with the outdoors. So I wanted to talk a little bit. You lived in a van for 7 weeks. You did this twice, is what I read
Correct.
that you
Yeah.
traveling to Alaska on the back roads. What prompted, was this for a story? Was this just something you wanted to do? It sounds wonderful. How did this all come about?
Well, that's another good question. So I always say my husband and I were van life before van life was van life. And we're great. We could have been truckers, long haul truckers, because we love to travel and go places. So twice we went, once to Alaska for 7 weeks in the van, and then once cross country on all the back roads for 7 weeks. And it turns out 7 weeks is about all I can handle. By 7 weeks, I'm ready to get home.
That was the end of
Um,
it.
but Alaska to me was such a magical place. Um, the people were interesting, they were hardy, they were tough, they were opinionated, they were wonderful, they were so open to us. Um, and the nature was just incredible. We took a boat to the Gulf of Alaska and went fishing for
Wow.
halibut and lingcod.
Nice.
We did an excursion where we went down, we rafted a river and did salmon fishing for king
Wow.
salmon. One night because you can, in the summertime, you can stay up all night. We fished a river for salmon. And as we were hiking toward the river, ran into two grizzly bears.
Oh, scary.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not afraid of a lot of animals, but I was definitely, these ones put fear in my heart.
Yeah.
So I just fell in love with Alaska. I fell in love with being in the van because it's four-wheel drive, so we could go place all, the back country, back roads and camp. It's what inspired my third book, which is The Beautiful and the Wild.
Which I actually
Um,
happen to have right here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I've always been an outdoor person and I love the outdoors. I mean, I spend as much time as I can outdoors, whether it's camping, skiing, running, hiking, uh, fishing, though not too much fishing. But yeah, the outdoors to me is very special and something that's so important to be preserved and held in trust for our children and
It
grandchildren.
it is important. And it really comes through. I read The Beautiful and the Wild, and it's beautiful writing and beautiful and wild writing in it. And it really comes through. And we both are involved with a great project called Authors for Public Lands. And I've really enjoyed your articles. Would you like to share a little bit about what we're doing and your passion for the outdoors coming through there?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm very excited about the group. It came together in Denver at a writing conference last year. And it's just this great group of authors that write about their novels are often set in the outdoors, and people who just love nature, who have had adventures. And so we write about things that to point people in the direction of why it's important to save our national parks, some of the threats to it, personal stories about people. One gentleman worked as a ranger for so long, and his stories are fascinating. And they're all so well written. Everybody's just a great writer, right? And
They,
yeah, and we write about a topic, and what I love is that everybody includes how you can do something about it.
yeah,
It's not just that we say, "Oh, this is a threat" or "This is terrible." We say, "Well, this is a threat, but here's what you can do." Um, and so one of my first pieces was I wrote about Jeannie Houston, who is a wonderful writer, friend of mine,
nice.
who she wrote Farewell to Manzanar, and she was in the Manzanar camp as a child. And her book is wonderful. Her story just come hits your heart, like a grenade. It just blows you up, and it's something really important to know. And I worried
Yeah,
about the order that came down that these kind of things should be scrubbed and we should only do
yeah,
celebratory American history. And I thought, how could you wipe out my friend Jeannie's story? Like, how could you
yeah.
say that that is not worth knowing about? So, I wrote about that. Not
It was
so much in a
wonderful.
political way, but just to say, hey, think of the consequences. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I've just enjoyed the group, and for your listeners out there, I would say check it out because it's a just a
Yeah.
wide variety of voices.
It really is. It's been fun, and I've really enjoyed your articles. And anyone listening, I'll put that in the show notes. We'll put a link to that Substack in the show notes, and make sure you check out Peggy's articles, and especially the story about your friend, because it was very touching and very important. So what's next for you? Is there going to be another book with Margaret, or another standalone, or what do you think?
Well, that's a good question. It always depends on your editors. I
Yeah.
kind of have an outline of book two of Margaret, the botanist
Oh, good.
assistant.
Okay.
Yeah, it's set in the Sonoran Desert this time because last year I took a trip into the Sonoran Desert, and
Wow.
just fascinating. And there are also many things there that can kill you. So,
Yes, that's true.
so I thought, well, that would be a good place, for Margaret to land and Calvin, the lab assistant, and Joe. Um, it'll be a little difficult pulling them all together, but I think I can do it. And so if
Yeah.
my editor wants another book, I'm ready to write it. And luckily, so many of the reviewers that I've had have said, we hope there's a second Margaret book. So I hope she's
Yeah.
reading this.
Well, we'll put our vote in for another Margaret book. So
There you go. Thank
you
you.
can show your editor the videos. You're like, see,
I
they
will.
all want it. I love it.
Yeah.
What's the best way for readers to connect with you, to find social media, newsletter, website? Go ahead and tell us the best way for someone to find you.
Oh, hey, well, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I guess I'm supposed to have a newsletter, but I haven't done that. So Instagram is the best place to reach me. It's
Okay.
Peggy Townsend Writer.
Okay.
And actually, my friend and I, another writer, have launched the Hen House Mystery Book Club. And
Oh, very
so
cool.
we do book reviews in the hen house with the chickens, and they're very opinionated about mystery books. So you can see our very early efforts there. We call ourselves two idiots trying to make a video, but it turns out to be very funny because we're so bad at it. You never know what a chicken's going to do in the middle of the review. So if people
I
want
love
to,
it. I am definitely gonna have to check that out. And that is perfect for sit, stay, read. So I'll have to make sure I get that in the show notes as well, because that sounds perfect to be out reviewing books with chickens. So
it's not as easy as we thought it would be. But so yeah, Instagram, Peggy Townsend Writer. You can
okay.
see the videos there of the Hen House Mystery Book Club review. So
Oh, okay. So it's not a separate Instagram account. It's on your.
it's on mine. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, I got you. Well, I'll
And
make
I
sure we find you there.
I do it with my friend Susan Sherman 625 on Instagram. So she also
Okay.
posts them. So she's great,
Okay.
very funny. So
I love it. Who has the chickens? Are they yours or are they Susan's?
they're Susan's chickens.
Okay.
And she's the narrator and I'm the director. And like I said, we're both it's funny because how clueless we are. So, and what the chickens do. One chicken in the middle of the review just started pecking at me at the camera.
Oh no. I love it. They're funny creatures. People don't realize how funny chickens are. I raised them as a kid for 4-H and yeah, so I'm definitely going to check that out. I
Yeah, we
love
call
it.
ourselves the Cluck Sisters. So
I love it. Oh, that is so much fun. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show and giving us a little insight into the botanist assistant and just your whole background. Thank you so much.
well, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. Your questions were great. I love the conversation, and yeah, it was super. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, everyone, it's the botanist assistant. And until next time, keep your tails wagging and pages turning. Thanks for joining me today. Sit, Stay, Read is a part of the Authors on the Air Global Network. If you enjoyed today's author interview, be sure to leave a review and share the episode with a fellow animal-loving reader. If you're curious about the world of working dogs and wilderness adventures, please check out my books at KathleenDonnelly.com. Until next time, curl up with your best furry friend and sit, stay, read.